Imagine a place in Egypt. It's dry and dusty. It's called the Valley of the Kings. For thousands of years this valley held a great secret. It was the burial ground of the pharaohs, the mighty rulers of ancient Egypt. They built their tombs deep into the rock, hidden from sight. They filled them with gold, jewels, and everything they would need for the afterlife. But over time, tomb robbers found many of them. They stole the treasures and left the tombs empty. It seemed like the valley had given up all its secrets. Most archaeologists thought there was nothing left to find, but one man didn't believe it. His name was Howard Carter. He was a British archaeologist. He was stubborn and very patient. Carter was convinced that one pharaoh was still missing, a young king named Tutankhamun. He had a feeling, a hunch, that Tutankhamun's tomb was still out there, waiting to be discovered. It was a huge gamble. For years he searched under the hot Egyptian sun. He dug trench after trench. He found bits of pottery and other small clues, but no tomb. People started to think he was mad, chasing a ghost. His financial backer was a man named Lord Carnarvon. After 5 long years of digging, Carnarvon was running out of money. He was also running out of patience. He told Carter that this would be his last season of digging. It was now or never. Carter knew this was his final chance. He had to find something or his dream would be over forever. He decided to search one last area. It was a spot near the tomb of another pharaoh, Ramesses VI. It was a place everyone else had overlooked, thinking it was just a pile of ancient workers' huts. So, Carter returned to the valley with his team. The year was 1922. The mood was tense. This was it, the final push. He instructed his workers to clear away the debris from the old huts. It was slow, hard work. The sun beat down on them. Dust filled the air. They shifted tons of rock and sand. For days they found nothing. It felt like another dead end. Carter's hopes were beginning to fade. Was he wrong all along? Had he wasted all those years, all that money, all for nothing? The clock was ticking. Then, on the morning of November 4th, 1922, everything changed. A water boy on the digging team stumbled on something hard under the sand. It wasn't just another rock. He called out and the workers rushed over. They started digging with their hands, full of excitement. There, just beneath the surface, was a step. A single step cut into the bedrock. Carter was called to the site immediately. His heart must have been pounding in his chest. Could this finally be it? After all the years of searching, was this the moment he had dreamed of? Carefully, Carter and his team cleared away the sand and rubble. The single step became a staircase. One by one, 12 steps appeared, leading down into the darkness. At the bottom was a door. It was blocked with stones and covered in plaster, and on the plaster were ancient seals. These were the official stamps of the royal necropolis. This was a very good sign. It meant the entrance had been officially closed. Carter realized he was looking at the entrance to a high-status tomb. It was a tomb that had been hidden for over 3,000 years. But he also saw something worrying. There were signs that the door had been opened and resealed in ancient times. Had tomb robbers gotten here first? Was the tomb empty inside? He had to find out. He made a small hole in the top corner of the door. He shone a candle through the opening. All he could see was a passageway filled with rubble. It seemed to stretch on into the blackness. He knew he couldn't go any further without Lord Carnarvon. He ordered his men to fill the staircase back in to protect it. He sent an urgent telegram to England. It said, "At last have made wonderful discovery." Lord Carnarvon travelled to Egypt as fast as he could. He arrived with his daughter, Lady Evelyn, about 2 weeks later. By November 26th, they were all standing at the bottom of the stairs. Carter's team had cleared the passageway. Now they stood before a second sealed door. Again, Carter could see the royal seals. His hands were trembling as he took a chisel. He made a small opening in the door. He lit a candle and pushed it through the hole. The hot air from inside the tomb made the flame flicker. He peered into the darkness, his eyes slowly adjusting to the gloom. Lord Carnarvon stood behind him, unable to bear the suspense. "Can you see anything?" he asked. For a moment, Carter was silent. He was completely stunned, unable to speak. The air smelled of perfume, oil, and something ancient. As his eyes got used to the dim light, shapes began to appear from the darkness. He saw strange animals, statues, and the glint of gold. Everywhere he looked, there was gold. Finally, he found his voice. He turned to Carnarvon and whispered the famous words. "Yes, wonderful things. What he saw was beyond his wildest dreams. What Carter was looking at was the antechamber. It was a room packed to the ceiling with treasures. There were golden chariots, dismantled and stacked against a wall. There were beautifully carved chests and ornate chairs. He saw 3 magnificent golden couches carved in the shape of lions and cows. Alabaster vases stood in the corners. It was like a storeroom for a king. But this wasn't the burial chamber itself. This was just the stuff left outside. The real prize, the pharaoh's mummy, must be somewhere else. This discovery was already the greatest archaeological find in history. So who was this Tutankhamun? He was a pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, but he wasn't a great warrior or a powerful ruler. In fact, he was just a boy. He became pharaoh when he was only about 9 years old. He ruled for about 10 years and died when he was just 19. Because his reign was so short, he was forgotten by history. The pharaohs who came after him even tried to erase his name from the records, but this is exactly why his tomb is so important. Because he was forgotten, his tomb was also forgotten. It was missed by the robbers. The discovery was special for one main reason. It was almost completely intact. For the first time, archaeologists could see a pharaoh's tomb exactly as the ancient Egyptians had left it. It was a time capsule. It gave us an incredible look into the wealth and the beliefs of that ancient world. Every object told a story about the life and death of a king. From his board games to his hunting equipment, it was all there. This wasn't just about finding gold, it was about finding history, frozen in time for more than 3,000 years. As Carter and his team began the massive job of cataloguing the thousands of objects, a strange story began to spread. It was the story of the pharaoh's curse. A few months after the tomb was opened, Lord Carnarvon died from an infected mosquito bite. The newspapers went wild. They claimed it was the curse of Tutankhamun, punishing those who disturbed his eternal rest. Other people connected to the dig also died in the following years. Most of these stories were just media hype, of course, but the legend of the curse added a layer of mystery and danger to the discovery. The curse might have been a myth, but the treasures were very real. The team eventually found the burial chamber. Inside they found 4 golden shrines, one inside the other like Russian dolls. At the center was a stone sarcophagus, and inside that were 3 coffins. The final coffin, holding the king's mummy, was made of solid gold. On the mummy's face was the most famous object of all, the magnificent golden death mask. This mask has become a symbol of ancient Egypt. Other treasures included golden thrones, jewelry, and even a dagger made from a meteorite. Today, these incredible treasures are kept safe. Most of them are displayed in the Grand Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Millions of people from all over the world come to see them every year. They stand in front of the glass cases and stare in disbelief. They look at the golden mask and the intricate jewelry. They see the objects that a boy king used in his daily life 3,000 years ago. It's a powerful connection to the past. It reminds us that these pharaohs were real people, not just names in a history book. The story of Tutankhamun still fills us with wonder. It's a tale of secrets hidden in the desert sand. It's a story of an archaeologist who refused to give up on his dream, and it's the story of a boy king who was forgotten by history only to become the most famous pharaoh of all. The discovery of his tomb wasn't just about the gold, it was about unlocking a door to the past. And even now, 100 years later, we are still amazed by the wonderful things that Howard Carter found.